I went into this afternoon excited to buy another comic book collection off of my Craigslist ad. Unfortunately, things didn't quite go as planned. All right, so I am hanging out in the parking lot of a gas station waiting to meet up with a potential seller of some comic books. Once again, I had someone reach out to me via my Craigslist ad saying that they had some comics that they wanted to sell. And initially, they just wanted to meet up with me and show me what they had. I don't like to do that because I don't want to waste their time. I don't want to waste my time. If it's something that doesn't pan out for us, I don't want to meet them halfway across town, spend that time and just, wasted time. So I always ask for pictures or, a list of what they've got, whatever works for them. I'm flexible, but I do prefer pictures. So they said they could take some pictures, said they had around 24 comics, so not too many. I was a little worried that this was going to be nothing I wanted. But they sent some pretty intriguing pictures back. And we did a little bit of negotiating this afternoon on price and where we were going to meet up, things like that. So here we are meeting up. Hopefully we can work out a deal.
A few minutes later.
All right, so good news and bad news. I bought the comic book collection. I looked through the comics when they were here, but I didn't do it slow enough. Got too excited. Gave them the money, got the comics, put them in my car, was looking through them. They took off, and two of the books that were supposed to be included in the collection were not there. Unfortunately, they have not responded to any of my messages or my phone call to them, so I think I'm probably out 2 books. One of them I'm not too worried about. The other one is a pretty big deal. Unfortunately, right? So that's the importance of looking through everything carefully, which I was trying to do. It's a little windy out today. So I was looking at these comics on the hood of my car, and not all of them were bagged and boarded. Some of them were like 2 in a bag, upside down, things like that. So I was like flipping through them, kind of not confusing, but you're just like, not everyone stacked, bagged and boarded and organized by any means. And the wind picked up a little bit, blew one of the covers open, right? So I was like fiddling with that, looked at them, everything looked good. So I gave them the money and they took off and I got in the car and here we are. Man, that stinks. Hopefully they get back with me. I don't know if that's going to be the case though, unfortunately. So I guess I'm just going to sulk on the way back home, and we'll get some video up and show you exactly what I picked up. All right, so unfortunately, the sellers have not gotten back with me as of the recording of this video. Now, I did reach out to them again and let them know, hey, I would be interested in working with them again, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that, hey, maybe they forgot those 2 comics in the backseat of the car or something. They just didn't, include them, because they did offer to let me look through everything when we met up. So I don't, I don't want to assume hiding it from me, but then again, they may have taken it out thinking, hey, they maybe have some idea of the value of that book, and they'll pull it out and not sell it to me unless I ask about it, right? I'm going at it at this point kind of like that might be possible just because they haven't gotten back with me. They were pretty responsive to my messages today, and for them to not respond at all after they got their money kind of makes me think that they either did it on purpose or didn't realize it, but it's not worth their time because they got their money out of me, and they're not really they can maybe sell these comics to somebody else and make some additional money. All right, now before we get to the good part of this video, leave me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video so far, and let me know in the comments below if you've encountered anything like this, shady sellers, anything like that. All right, first up we have this DC Comics Presents #2, which is actually a Whitman variant. All right, next up we have Iron Man number 118, which is the first appearance of James Rhodey Rhodes, later becoming War Machine. Then we move on to these X-Men titles. This is Uncanny X-Men number 109, the first appearance of Weapon Alpha, who becomes Vindicator in X-Men 120. X-Men 116 is a minor key, and that's where we first see Wolverine's healing power. X-Men 117 is also a minor key. That's where we have the first appearance of the Shadow King and a lot of backstory with the origin of Professor X. Another minor key here with Uncanny X-Men 118. That's the first appearance of Mariko Yoshida, Wolverine's deceased fiancée. in X-Men 120, we get the first cameo appearance of Alpha Flight. We've got a heftier key here in Uncanny X-Men number 129. This starts off the Dark Phoenix saga storyline. We also have the first appearance of Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, and a cameo appearance of the Hellfire Club. All right, so here is where the next book should have been, and that is Uncanny X-Men number 130, the first appearance of Dazzler. Now, I'm here editing multiple hours after I picked up this collection. I still have not heard back from the sellers, and I don't actually expect to be honest. You know, whether they accidentally left that comic out or if they did it on purpose, I don't know. But no communication after the fact kind of leads me to believe that they either did it on purpose or it's not worth their time. They got their money and, you know, it's just not worth their effort to contact me again to try and meet up to get me that book. So chalking this one up, like I've kind of said, to a learning experience. It's unfortunate because I would have loved to have another copy of X-Men 130 in my collection, but there's still a lot of additional books that are really exciting in this collection, and we're going to get to those right now. All right, here we have Uncanny X-Men 131. This is the third part of the Dark Phoenix saga and our first cover appearance of the White Queen, aka Emma Frost. This might be my favorite book out of this collection, Uncanny X-Men 133, the first solo Wolverine cover. And here we have Uncanny X-Men 134. This is where Jean Grey becomes the Dark Phoenix. No X-Men 135, but we do have 136, part 8 of the Dark Phoenix saga, where Jean Grey reclaims control and suppresses that Dark Phoenix. Two of my all-time X-Men favorite books, that starting with number 141, the first part of Days of Future Past. And then following that right up with, I think this is probably my favorite X-Men cover of all time, 142, part 2 of the Days of Future Past storyline. Here we have a minor key with Uncanny X-Men number 150, The Origin of Magneto. Number 155 here is our first appearance of the Brood Queen. All right, now as you probably guessed by the title of this video, I paid $250 for this collection. They originally wanted $300 for everything. I countered with $200, and we finally settled at $250. And I would have felt a lot better about that number had that X-Men 130 been in this collection. I don't think it's terrible at the moment, right? There were still some books in here that I need for my personal collection, so that's great. But I'm definitely going to want to get rid of some of these books that were duplicates, like the Days of Future Past story. I have multiples of those books, so I'll probably be looking to make sure that these aren't better condition than what I've already got. And if they are, switch them out, but that'll probably be a set that I look to get rid of sooner than later to kind of recoup some of my money on this collection purchase. I can't believe I forgot to add this in. I'm sitting here editing this video and I was like, where's the film of me talking about how much I paid for this collection? So here it is. All right, now I'm gonna chalk this one up to a lesson learned. I had time there to look through all of the comics when they were presenting them, and I could have seen for myself that X-Men 130 and the Man-Thing comic were not in the package. At that point, I could have asked and said, hey, I noticed that, you know, these two comics were not there. Did you bring them with you? Did you sell them? Right? And based on their answer, we could have either renegotiated the price or they could have gotten them and included them in this bundle. That's a tip I've got for you today. If you are meeting up with somebody and you're expecting something to be there in your purchase, make sure that those things are actually there. All I had to do was look through 24 comics and I couldn't even get that right. I will say I felt a little distracted, right? That weather was there. Not all the comics were bagged and boarded, like I said. And with those covers flying around, and then she asked if I wanted some other like just random magazines as well. Whether that was to get my attention off of the comics or what, who knows, but the onus kind of falls back on me a bit for not doing my due diligence while we were there. Now, that being said, they haven't contacted me back, so there's a little shadiness on their part as well. All right, that's gonna do it for this one. Be sure you're subscribed to my channel so you can be sure to catch all of my content in the future. And until next time, make sure you get everything you pay for.